I'm Jeff Bruner with WiLS, and I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for Taco Tuesday. This series is held on the first Tuesday of nearly every month, and it's an opportunity to connect our vendor partners with you. The webinars are recorded and then shared out as segments to allow our members to learn about products and services that are of most interest to them in 15-minute bites. The links will be shared with everyone who registered and will be posted on the WiLS website several places, including the Taco Tuesday page and on the individual vendor pages. So we're very excited to welcome 4 special guests today. We have Jim Jacobson from EBSCO, Karen Britton from Traliant, Ari Shanuk from Newsbank, and Jamie Sunken from Nearpod. Each presenter has a 15-minute window to present, and I'll give you a reminder at that 14-minute mark. So to get us started, I'm going to turn things over to Jim Jacobson from EBSCO to talk to us about Prenda coding. Jim, do you want to go ahead and share your screen? I may have to stop sharing mine.
Correct. Yep, that would be great.
Let me do a stop on my share, and then we'll have Jim share his.
Okay, sounds good. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. As Jeff had said, I'm your EBSCO representative. So I cover 6 states, Wisconsin being one of them. And I'm fortunate enough to actually live right here in Wisconsin. So I'm enjoying the same 30-degree weather that you are right now if you're in the state. I know with working from home, some people working remotely have other places that they're able to work from, but I am right here. And as being part of EBSCO, I'd like to just say I'm a proud partner working with WiLS and BadgerLink. So just to kind of reintroduce EBSCO, we provide 44 of the individual databases and learning resources through BadgerLink. What's really nice is we've got 5 age-appropriate interfaces that we work with in our Explora outlets. And we also offer individual school and library access support. So if you need any training or if you need any additional information, feel free to reach out to me on any of the BadgerLink resources. They do a great job of providing, different scavenger hunts and teacher guides and things like that. But rest assured that for all age groups, I'm the K-12, so I go kindergarten through high school, and also the public library representative. So if you do have any information that you need or any training, I just wanted to cover a few of the great resources that are available through BadgerLink. I kind of skipped over the children's section, but Explora is a fantastic interface. There's also a teacher's version of Explora that really helps solidify all of the resources that you already have through the state. And in a children's department or in the K through 8 realm, a couple of the key areas that we like to focus on as resources would be Novelist K-8, which gives you a great idea of what read-alikes. If a student is really enjoying one type of book, you can use Novelist K-8 to find other books that are like that. Primary search and middle search, and also Learning Express Library School Center is fantastic to help not only your current students, but also those learning remotely. In the middle school and high school resources, that's where we really have a large number of resources available. So feel free to take a look at those. We also have some great resources for teachers and librarians. So in this age of COVID right now, professional development is key in a lot of environments. So by all means, there's some outstanding resources there too. But what I really wanted to talk about today was Prenda. It's a new product of ours that we've been working with. And it really does a great job of starting a coding club or also some self-paced learning if you're trying to support your STEM and STEAM programs. So what Prenda really is a gamified, self-paced code platform. It's web-based for ages 8 through 18. And it just does a really nice job of simplifying coding, and I'll show you a little bit more about how that works. Some of the things that are really fantastic, like I'd already mentioned, it's ages 8 through 18, and it does a nice job of really providing a platform, even if you don't have a coding person or somebody that really understands coding on staff, because it is all self-paced, and it's a number of different videos and tutorials that guide people through, your students through the process. The content that we have, you see a little bit of the platform itself on the screenshot, but there's over 300 coding tutorials and activities that are brought out through the workouts that we use. And there's more than 30 projects that cover things like website design, video games, animations. So over 4 years of curriculum are built into this program. And again, the nice thing is you don't have to be a coding whiz to go through this program with your students. What's also nice is not only does it help you design websites through HTML, CSS, and SQL, but you can also do games and back-end scripting. So if you're working in an environment that you have robots or some other things, we can definitely satisfy those coding needs also. And you'll also notice that we work with Makey and Raspberry Pi for makerspace devices. Some of the features, as I mentioned earlier, it's web-based. So if you have Chromebooks, if you have laptops, if you even have Macs or tablets, your remote access learners can figure out how to get on it with all of those. There's no downloads required. It's all streaming. And as I mentioned, the reward system and the gamification program of it really help to make sure that the students stay engaged. Some of the features, as you can see from this screenshot, and I'll go into a little bit of it in our demonstration, but you'll notice here that you have a ton of workout gear. So you're always trying to work and strive for that next level, that next avatar reward that you would get in either the workouts or the mission tools. So whether it's a belt or a hat or some robot sidekicks, you can have all of those things as you're learning. And what's also nice is in your portfolio, you can share this out. There's a really nice parents share button that you can share with friends. You can put out to the actual full group of users that are using Prenda, which now is over 25,000 users, to kind of really show off your work and let people know what you're doing. There's also a nice moderated discussion board that if you have questions or if you want to chat about something, you can put it out to the game board and have other people comment on it or give you suggestions. So it really is building a nice community along with what people are looking for. And from an administrator standpoint, you also have great reporting, statistics. You can help your users with password resets. And there's a built-in messaging system if you want to just chat with some of the people that are either in your club, in your group, or working at it on an individual basis. With Prenda, when you order it, we have special pricing through WiLS that's available. But the nice thing is for your school or your library, it offers unlimited users. Those users have unlimited access, and you also have access to club training. We support everything as far as if you have questions, you have access to our coder trainers that are available to answer them for you. But it really is a full turnkey solution. Again, just so you don't have to feel uncomfortable with any lack of knowledge. Plus, you could also be walking through this with them and learn some interesting skills along with you. So what I'll do is I'll just show you a little bit about what I'll stop sharing for a second and go into the club itself. So let me know when you see the club code. Is it up?
It is. It looks good, Jim.
Okay, so as you can see here, you have a username and password. Once I log in, you would get access to your avatar. You'll notice here that you have the home base. You also have the gear that might be available, which, having started a new session, I don't really have anything. But the way it works is your workouts are kind of your training sessions. They're small bite-sized areas where once I complete the first one and am I getting started, I would earn a shirt. And then as I work through these different workouts, whether I want to work on web design, creating games, scripting, and it doesn't necessarily have to go in a 1, 2, 3. If I want to start with Makerspace and work in Raspberry Pi, I can start there. So the workouts, again, are kind of those bite-sized introductions and also the ability to practice. And the missions are where you're actually doing full-fledged projects. So if you want to create that first game, it would be in a mission environment. Once I create that mission, then I would be able to get whatever avatar rewards are available and then track them in the portfolio. So again, it's for ages 8 through 18. It's a full service turnkey provided solution for creating either a club code gaming group or a class, or even just having a club. So we help you with that. We have a lot of administrative tools, and we also have fantastic reward-based streaming training that goes along with this. So I'm almost at the end of my time. I'll leave like a minute for questions if there are any, but if you would like to trial it, I will share my information with Sarah and Jeff at WiLS, and by all means, reach out to me and I'd be happy to let you play with it.
Thank you so much, Jim. This is exactly the kind of thing that I wish had existed when I was of school age. And these are the kinds of tools that I think adults really need too. So, you know, that's a really exciting way to kind of make fun a set of skills that I think is going to be never going to be less important. It's always going to be more important as time goes on, right? So that's
absolutely
really cool.
Well, and coding can be pretty intimidating if you don't have somebody that's into coding on staff. This makes it really easy to actually have those types of skills available without having to have that technical person on staff.
Yeah, that's just how I feel too. Like that would make me feel more confident in trying to build up those skills, is to have a program like this available to me. I'm sure that would be true for the intended audience, which is school age people as well. So I don't see any questions showing up in chat or the little Q&A module, but as Jim said, feel free to please do reach out to Sarah Gold or myself, and we will for sure put you in touch with Jim to get you a trial or a quote or whatever you need to get started. Thank you so much, Jim, for sharing that with us. And I'm going to share my screen just temporarily, if I can remember how to do that, to get us transitioned over to our next presenter. So joining us today from Traliant is Karen Britton. Karen, are you here with us?
I am indeed, Jeff. I am indeed.
Great. Okay. So I am going to end my sharing and have you share your screen, and then we should be ready to see what you've got for us today.
Wonderful. Let me just see. If I can share my screen, that would be a great start, right?
Right.
It's not giving me that option.
If you take your mouse down toward kind of where at the bottom of the window, hopefully is there a share screen button? It's usually in green, I think.
I know, and it's not there.
Okay.
There we go. And it's popped up now.
Oh, good.
So that helps considerably. Okay, so trusting that you can now see my screen. Is
There
that
it is.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm actually not going to share my entire screen with just the slide. I'm going to keep the pieces to the left so that you have the opportunity to have a look there as we go through if something catches your eye. So thank you so much for inviting me today. We are, I believe, the newest partner to the WiLS Cooperative Program, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work with the team there. Traliant has been around for approximately 6 years, and we specialize in HR compliance training. One of the components that make our training very, very different is that we actually cater to the audience that's participating in the training. We came to WiLS because we work with an awful lot of libraries in particular, and we've created a custom suite of HR compliance courses that speaks specifically to the library audience. So with that, I'd like to share with you the library suite that we have created. This covers prevention of discrimination and harassment, workplace diversity, inclusion and sensitivity, unconscious bias, microaggressions in the workplace, bystander intervention, bloodborne pathogens, data privacy, GDPR and information security, and active shooter response. These courses have been selected by our library audience, and in all openness, I would say 6 of them are common to our library audience, and then 2 of them will change every time. So what we decided to do was, rather than narrow it down too tight, we just give those extra couple of courses so that our audience could choose which ones were most appropriate for their specific situation. As much as I say that we work with a lot of libraries, we do indeed, and from that we know that each one is very unique. You have some challenges in common, but there's also a lot that's independent specifically to that entity. So we've taken our training and we've made it relevant. We update our courses extremely regularly. As the world changes, particularly recently at such a high speed, it's important that we're addressing the current issues and the current needs that people are finding on a day-to-day. We understand that through WiLS, a lot of the members are pushing proactively an equity, diversity and inclusion initiative. I find that hard to say because we call it diversity, equity and inclusion. So I'm always going to get those 2 around the wrong way. But our courses specifically speak to that and can fill a really useful component of the training element of the programs as they're rolled out. In addition to the courses that we have within the suite, just to let you know, we do have a broader selection, and we are happy to discuss any of these and again provide evaluation access to any of these as well. You'll see just a couple of logos along the bottom of the screen now of libraries who've been working with us over an extended period of time. So back to my core go-to slide here again. I want to discuss these 3 bite-sized Traliant sparks. These sparks are 2 to 3 minute little videos that just allow you to spark a conversation within your environment, maybe to highlight a situation or to just keep the conversation going surrounding your equity, diversity and inclusion program. Told you I'm going to keep getting that one wrong. To highlight 3 of the actual courses in there, you'll see The courses are of varying lengths. Within the course, they do come in bite-sized segments, so people can come in and out of the course as their schedules allow and as interruptions do occur. Starting off with workplace diversity, inclusion and sensitivity as being a core foundation course to your EDI program. It's 35 minutes. It covers all of the basics and allows your people to start the conversations and to start the new pattern of their cultural behavior. Unconscious bias is a shorter course, and again, it builds from the workplace diversity, inclusion and sensitivity course, culminating in the microaggressions in the workplace course. Again, helping your people understand and react appropriately. I'm sorry, you just glitched, you just froze. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you still sound good, Karen.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. So going back to how Traliant approach their courses, we do understand that the concept of sitting and doing some training is not always the most enthralling invitation that a member of the team receive. To that, we've made sure that our training is interactive, it is experiential, it's very modern, it speaks to today's situations and today's languages. It is customizable, so you can have your own branding within the course and make your colleagues feel that the course has really been selected specifically for their situation. We do monitor from a compliance standpoint to ensure that all our courses fit the current needs. We have a behavior-based approach as recommended, and we've made this suite of courses particularly affordable for libraries. So here I've just included a couple of the screenshots that show the style. Again, you can see very clear, gives you the options to make the interactions, and when you complete the pathway that you've selected, the course will then take you through the alternative pathways and the alternative conclusions. Each one looks slightly different and has different interactions. We've got some examples of the gamification here and the different looks with the drag and drop and the other points of engagement. As I mentioned, the courses are split into 5 to 8 minute episodes or parcels, so it allows for easy returning to a section when one is interrupted, or if one wants to even return to a particular area just to cover their, I've lost my train of words, just to revisit a particular question or different situation. As I mentioned, we've been around for approximately 5 years. We've had more than 2 million completions. Our learning management solution is an extremely robust solution. It allows for your team members to go in, access the training, and it allows for the supervisor or the administration person to receive very readable reports. The reporting side of it includes a very, very visual dashboard, which allows you to see an overall picture of the progression and then drill down through right down to the detail and export that information in either Excel or PDF. So going back to a quick summary of why Traliant, we've got the industry-leading interactive courses with those bite-sized episodes. It does relate to your audience. You're not giving people something that's not appropriate for them. It works very, very well on a mobile phone or any other technology such as a tablet, and we've got a phenomenal customer service team who are right there with you, right from getting you rolled out to adding more trainings to answering any questions that anybody may have. So the bit that everybody's really interested in is the pricing of this. WiLS have been wonderful and have negotiated a fantastic pricing structure for their members. The full suite of the library courses, those 8 courses, starts at $38 per person for the suite. If you have more people, the price obviously comes down as you increase the volume. And if you're looking for just one single course, the prices start at $20 per person. If you would like further customizations, again, we can do that starting at $90 a course. So I'd like to open it up to any questions.
Thank you so much for that, Karen. I'm keeping an eye on the chat box for any questions that come in. You just out of curiosity, you said that you've done a lot of work with libraries. What other sorts of institutions do you work with at Traliant?
We work with everybody. We're vertical agnostic. We have a lot of municipalities. We have a lot of associations. We have a lot of hospitality clients, manufacturing, retail, right across the gambit.
That's great, and I'm very, of course, I'm always excited about all of our vendor partners. I'm very excited to have you coming on board because I think that WiLS is poised to start reaching out into areas of need for our members that go beyond the library resources, which is what we are most specialized with. It's exciting to have some of the other kinds of things that our member institutions need supported by vendor partners. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. We're very excited to be working with you and the team.
Okay, well, I don't see any questions having come in yet, but I assume that we can relay questions on to you. Is there any other kind of information that you would want to put in here right at the end before we move on to our next speaker?
You can feel free to reach out to me anytime. We're more than happy to share evaluation access of any of our materials to any of your members and help in any way that we can.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much, Karen. And we will, of course, put members in touch with you for follow-ups, information, evaluation, those sorts of things.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Okay, so let me take us back to our kind of home base screen as we prepare for our next presenter. Ari, are you here with us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. All right. So I'm going to turn things over to Ari from Newsbank to talk to us. Ari, are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, actually, I have our director, Matt Stawicki, with me today. Matt, are you here?
I am.
Oh, great. Ari and Matt.
Okay, and I'm sharing my screen right now.
We see it. It looks great. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jeff. So yeah, hi, I'm Matt Stawicki, Director of Sales here at Newsbank for the K-12 and community colleges. Today, we'd like to show you the newest of the resources that we've developed called Black Life in America. What it basically does is it literally chronicles the experience, the impact that African Americans have had in U.S. history as recorded by the media. It literally covers data from as far back as 1704 and is updated on a daily basis. All primary sources, and as you can see, there's a key word search box here, but the real meat of the program is really the timeline that we've created. As you'll note, we've got every major error in U.S. history covered, but it's from an African-American perspective. So it's going to talk to and show you, notable people, legislature, trial and turbulence, but at the same time, success and experience and enterprise and so on across the board. So it really is a complete chronicle of how African Americans have impacted our history. You'll note under each error here, I've got the very beginning. You've got these different categories. So notable people, society and culture. And regardless of what category you go into, you'll note you've got the same topics, but what will happen is some additional things may or may not arise depending on what was happening during that specific error in time. So example here is if I just go into notable people here and I want to look at W.E.B. Du Bois, okay, I can simply click on that and that will run a search to pull back the information. This database is made up of documents from around the world, over 19,000 different global sources. It was pulled from over 1.4 billion documents and sources to pull the information forward. It has over 87 million documents in it. And you'll note that with this search, I've got a set of 38 results. So what we've tried to do is really target so that you get the information you're looking for in just a few clicks, okay? You've got filters down the side that allow you to further limit the information you're looking at, okay? And in this example, if I just click on this first article, you'll note that this is an article that was pulled out of the newspaper. And in this case, it came from the Cleveland Gazette, I believe it is, okay, from December 17th, 1910. So this is exactly what was written about Dr. W.E.B. At that time, okay? The user has multiple things they can do with the article here. They can search for more information. You'll note that I've got thumbnails here, and I've actually got 3 pages loaded from this newspaper. So I can search that information. I can create the citation. I can email the information. I can print it. I can download it. And the download option allows you to send it to a PDF on your hard drive or even out to your Google Drive, okay? You can create a folder in Newsbank. And this is a Doro link. So this link will always open up to this article. So you can copy it and send it to a student, to a teacher. Teacher can pull it up on a whiteboard and it would open directly up, okay? One of the nice things is these are historical documents. So they're image editions of the newspapers, of the magazines, exactly the way they were printed back in the day. Example here is if I wanted to use this article and I wanted to include the nameplate of the Cleveland Gazette in my project, there's also a clip function that comes along with all the image editions in the newspaper that will allow you to actually clip information directly off of a page, okay? So example would be, I can select this clip function and I can size it to grab the nameplate so that I can include that right in my project to be able to show exactly where it came from, both the date, the name, everything, okay? What it's doing is it's actually creating that clip, and I downloaded it as a PDF, and you'll note here, I've got a nice clean PDF of that nameplate that I can now use within my project, okay? So very, very easy to use clip items out of newspapers. I've got my breadcrumbs. I can go backwards, so I can go right back to my search, okay? And again, they're all identical. So no matter what you do, it's going to bring you to the information. And you can go from new information, okay? For example, here, if I wanted to look at when Black Lives Matter was founded, I could click on this and that will run that search. But now I've got current information from 2013. So it's going to run that search and pull that information forward. And you'll note here, we've got a different set of results. And this time I've got full text as opposed to image. So again, I can do multiple things, print, download, email, save. I've got the link, but with full text articles, you've also got a read along that will highlight the words and read the information right along.
Marchers stand fast.
Okay, so very, very usable. No matter what you go into, they're all the same. One of the other examples I like to show is if I go into civil rights and notable people here, you'll see that we've got Jackie Robinson, we've got Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall. So you've got really very, very notable people and so on. Okay, if I do a search for Martin Luther King, I can run that search. And one of the things I noticed in here right away was I've got Michael King here, not somebody that I recognized and associated with Martin Luther King. So when I resort my data to oldest, I can scroll down and I looked for where I saw Michael King in the results set, okay? And when I click on that, well, come to find out, something I never ever knew was that Michael King, as you can see here, is actually his birth name. And that it was after that that his father rechristened him as Martin Luther King. Just a piece of information to show you the breadth and depth of information that we've pulled forward within this database to really show you and illustrate everything about this specific subject and topic area, okay? So that's the way our timeline works. You've got keyword searching here. So example is I could search out race relations and do a search, and that will go out and search that database. And it'll pull back the results. And in this case, I'm going to get a pretty big set of results. So I've got 756,000 plus results. You'll note the data goes from by decade, from all the way back to 1850 to 2029. I can filter by specific dates if I wish. Okay, I can go to a specific year. Here's an idea of all the different source types we've got in the database: audios, blogs, college, university newspapers, journals, magazines, newsletters, newspapers, news wires, transcripts, video, and web-only data. Okay, I can filter by going to a specific name. I had mentioned we've got over 200 countries. It's from around the world. So I can filter my data by continent, country, region, state, province, and city. So you can really get very local or look at an international perspective, for example, on how race relations were being represented. You've got multiple languages available. Outside of English, Spanish is one of the next big languages. There's a lot of French in here as well, okay? You can get to a specific article type even when looking at the historical data. And then, of course, sort by those errors in history, okay? So an example here on race relations, if I wanted to look at how race relations were being represented in the 1920s, I can simply filter down to that date, and now I've got my results. So I went from 756,000 to 234. So now I've got a much more, manageable set of results. I can even take it further and I can say, you know what? I want to look at race relations and the way they were being represented in a specific state. So I can compare state by state. So I could go race relations in Georgia and look at just Georgia. So now I'm down to 18 results. I can look at the perspectives. What were they saying about race relations in Georgia? And then go and compare that to, for example, to New York or another state. And then I could look at it again and say, you know what, let's look at it for the 1970s. So very, very flexible in the way you can get perspectives. We built this database without bias. So it is exactly the way the content was written the day it was published. And the reason I say that is because you want to make sure you put that in context, because there may be photos, there may be words here and there that can seem offensive, but if put in the proper context, they can be desensitized the way they should be. Very deep database that covers much of the information that you're looking for, including diversity, inclusion, and so on. I know we've got limited time, so that kind of gives you a good rundown on what we've got available with this new database. Any questions I can answer for anyone?
I'm keeping an eye on our chat and Q&A. We haven't had any questions come in yet, but I'll say I'm really excited about this new collection, this database that you're demoing for us today. I mean, I think it's timely. Oh, here I've got a comment from the channel saying that it looks awesome, and I couldn't agree more. I think it looks fantastic. I'm excited to get some to get this into some of our libraries and get this really cool new resource out into the user's hands. Thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you. And, you know, should any information be needed, anything further, of course, Ari can, you've got Ari's information. You can reach out to Ari. He'll be sure you have everything you need.
That's great. Thank you. I've said this each time, but some folks will only see 1 or 2 segments. So I'll say, yeah, please do reach out to myself, Jeff Bruner, or Sarah Gold here at WiLS, and we will be thrilled to put you in touch with Ari, folks over at Newsbank to get you the information you need about how to use and how to get hold of this resource.
Great.
Thank you again for joining us today. We're a little bit ahead of time, but I'll ask Jamie, are you prepared to start, or do you want us to wait another minute or so?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly share my screen just to give us kind of a jumping off point or a transition point for those just seeing the recordings. So our next speaker is Jamie Sunken from Nearpod. And Jamie, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we'll wait for you to share yours, and then you can begin.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Looks great. Thank you so much. Okay,
perfect. So again, my name is Jamie Sunken. I'm the regional sales manager for both Flocabulary and Nearpod across all districts in Wisconsin. I know that many schools in Wisconsin actually currently purchase Flocabulary, so that was what I really wanted to focus on today, which is what you're seeing on my screen right now. And then if we have time, I want to quickly hop into Nearpod and show you a little bit about what Nearpod has to offer too. For those of you who are unfamiliar already, of course, you know, Nearpod and Flocabulary are both student engagement platforms. Nearpod more of like lesson delivery for like engaging activities and interactive activities, whereas Flocabulary is more about the hip hop piece and the videos. So what we saw at Nearpod is that we really needed to incorporate hip hop and music into our learning platform, and that was where Flocabulary came into place. So instead of just, you know, talking about it, I want to actually show you a video so you can see what it really is all about. And so what I'll do is I'll go into one of my videos that's about setting, and I can play it for you, and you get a feel for it, and then I'll go in and keep explaining. But let me know if you can't hear this video. Can you hear it okay?
I'm not catching any audio. We can see the video moving, but not hear the audio.
Okay, what about now?
Yes, we hear that.
Where are we? Huh? I'm sitting, leaning, living, breathing, thinking about the book that I finished reading. I dug the characters and liked the plot. Was anything else important? Probably not. Wait, what about the setting? The setting is the one I'm always forgetting. It gives us the where and the when, but it's mostly in the background. Know what I'm saying? Feel me? Actually, maybe not. The setting might be more important than I thought. Here's the character, his name is Todd, and here's some action that's a part of the plot. Todd clenched his jaw, he was sweating. Now how could that be informed by the setting? Well, let's say he's on the track at a race, shooting fur, he's running, trying for first place. But what if we switch up the setting? There might be a different reason Todd is sweating. Say he's in class, sitting at a desk, you might infer schoolwork's causing him stress. Or what if he was on a ship going down? Fear is the reason he's sweating now. Yep.
So I'm not going to go ahead and play the whole video just for the sake of time, but essentially we have lessons for English, language arts, science, social studies, math, even social emotional learning and financial literacy, trying to keep up with 21st century learning. And all of our lessons are aligned to standards and include lyrics, as you saw across the video, so your students can read along. But essentially what it does, it just makes it a really exciting way for your students to learn and understand what it is your teachers are teaching. So for example, let's say you're trying to teach about 9th grade algebra and you're having a hard time getting your students, really interested and engaged. Showing this video might be a way to get them excited about it using one of our math videos. Taking it a step further, I can turn on discussion mode as a teacher. And then what I'll do is be able to skip along to the questions. So what's one reason that the setting of a story can be important, for example? And then my students would be able to go ahead and respond to these interactive questions along the video.
Here's the character, his name.
And then I can just go ahead and skip next and keep going on to the different questions that are here. Separately, something to note, we have teacher resources. It shows you what grade levels this video is going to be recommended for and the different vocab terms within the video. And then of course, all the activities are going to be printable. So let's say you're switching between in-person, distance, and hybrid learning. You can switch back and forth between using it on Chromebooks, iPads, any type of device, any web browser will work on. Or you can just print out these activities. And then lastly, go into the standards alignment and see here what the standard is actually, what it is aligned to. Once you've gone ahead and watched the video, you'll see on the below area here, we have vocab cards, vocab game, read and respond, quiz, and lyric lab. So all of these activities will be included in all the lessons that you see here. My favorite personally is the lyric lab, the last one. You can use it as a fun sort of exit ticket. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to the lyric lab. But essentially, it's when students would be able to create their own rap or rhyme, and they can pick a beat, for example. Let's say I wanted to do this exploring beat, and then I can start using the vocab words I see here and pick the rhymes that go along with it. So as you see here, what I've been doing is just using these little vocab words that I see here highlighted, which again, I would have learned about in the vocab cards and vocab game activity. And then as a fun exit ticket or for homework, perhaps, you can have the students begin to rap. So what I'll do is start rapping for you. The character is the main conflict. What is the context, you ask? I am in the plot. I'm going to take a quick shot here and infer the rest. Let's put it to the test. So essentially what you can do when you're done with the rap is I can, let's say I wanted to assign it out to one of my classes or go in and just choose individual students. Maybe if I want to do personalized learning, I would go ahead. I can choose if I want to assign them the video, the vocab cards, the quiz, lyric lab, make it visible, let's say tomorrow, and pick a due date perhaps of next week. And then I can go ahead and create that assignment. And so my student will go ahead and get this activity. And so that's sort of how I would assign the lessons out. And then once I've done that, I can go back into my Flocabulary homepage, go into my class, and let's say I wanted to see what the data looks like. So let's say this 50 states and capitals assignment, I can go in, or this Katherine Johnson in human computers, this looks like it was completed by all my students. I can go in and view this, and I can get all the data from the students that completed this activity. So I can see the percentage that they got, what they got on the quiz, for example, and then I can go into an individual review or even a comprehension analysis to see what my students understood at a holistic view versus what I might need to focus a little bit more on. So that's a little bit about how Flocabulary works. Pretty straightforward and simple. As I mentioned earlier, we have language arts, math, science, social studies, and then also life skills if you wanted to do racial and social justice, social emotional learning, health and wellness, financial literacy. And we have videos for all of these different pieces. And then of course, keeping it culturally relevant, we also have current events. So making sure we keep up with each month and what's going on that month. For example, for February, we had a Black History Month contest and students were able to submit their own, create and submit their own responses and create their own raps. And luckily, a few of them are going to actually end up being featured within some of our lessons on our homepage. I know we have just about 5 or so minutes left here, so I want to quickly just hop into Nearpod for a second and show you. This is the Nearpod platform. Again, it's the platform that acquired Flocabulary, and it makes it more of a two-way street of communication. And you'll see you can always get the Flocabulary videos right over here. And this is where the integration comes into play. You'll see all the videos alongside here. A lot of schools like to purchase both products just because it makes it so you can have the Lyric Lab and some of those other fun activities I mentioned. But there are schools due to budget that just choose to do the Nearpod platform and add the Flocabulary video pack purchase as well. I know we don't have so much time here, but essentially what you can do with Nearpod is launch synchronous or asynchronous lessons. So let's say I wanted to do a lesson for my students and get their responses in real time. I would go ahead and launch a live lesson. I can send it out through Google Classroom, Schoology, Canvas, whatever it may be, or just get my students to join in with a code. And then once I'm in the lesson, I would go ahead and be controlling the pace of this lesson. You'll see we have a Flocabulary video right over here. And my students would be able to play along and read along. And then so once I would include these activities, for example, a collaborate board, a quiz, poll, draw it, you name it, you'll sort of find it within Nearpod. My students would respond to these questions and I would be getting their responses in real time. As I'm demonstrating here, Google Safe Search to put an image on. Love Shark Tank, I'll go ahead and use the Shark Tank image. And then again, I would be getting all of those responses in real time, whether it's a vocabulary matching activity, a draw it tool, a quiz, so on and so forth. And then this little icon on the left-hand side over here would show me who's in my lesson. So of course, no students have actively joined in just yet, but this is how I would get that list of who's joined. And then at the end of the lesson, I can choose to open whiteboards if I want to make it more collaborative, add activities on the fly, or I can go back into my reports and see all the data at the end of the lesson. So I can go into my reports on the left-hand side, and what I would do is be able to get all the post-session reports and see exactly how my students performed. So I can go into the date of the lesson, see all my students' names here, and again, same way we saw in Flocabulary, their responses coming up here, so I don't lose any of that access. So in a nutshell, I know that was really, really brief and quick, but in a nutshell, that is what Nearpod and Flocabulary is all about. Just trying to make your lives easier for your teachers, for your students, and for your admin, of course, getting that admin oversight and being able to communicate and teach, whether you're in the classroom, remote, or hybrid. And so again, would be happy to discuss further if anyone wanted to connect afterwards and do like an actual live demonstration where I can show you in depth Nearpod or Flocabulary. I would be happy to get that scheduled for you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. What a cool product. I just love the innovation that we're seeing now and new ways of teaching and learning. I can only imagine that given the way schooling has been going this year, that a lot of people are finding a great deal of utility in tools like this. Would you say that's true?
Oh, definitely. So many teachers and principals come to us after they take a look at our platform and end up purchasing it, just saying how grateful they are that we've provided this product and tool for them, just because it really makes their lives easier and gets the students engaged, which is the most important.
Well, that's fantastic. I'll agree with Karen in the chat. It looks amazing, and I can only imagine that this is going to continue to be a really valuable tool for teachers and schools all over the place.
Yeah.
So for sure, we will, as I've said, we will make sure to put in touch anyone who wants to know more about the resources, wants to see a demo or get pricing or anything. We'll be in touch with you, Jamie.
Awesome. That would be great. And I just posted my email address in the chat. I'm sure you have it, but just in case, I posted it in there. But yeah, I definitely look forward to hearing from you guys and helping schools out, continuing down the road.
Thank you so much. And I'll say thank you to all of our presenters for being here today. We couldn't put on Taco Tuesday without you. And thank you to those who have attended. For everyone listening to the recording, thank you too. So we'll be wrapping up the session for today. We're going to break the session down into each segment, share those out with everyone who registered, and we'll also post them. Oh, there's my timer. We'll also post them on our site so that everyone can find them and see this great content. The last thing I'll say is that our next Taco Tuesday session is already scheduled for April 6th at 11:30 a.m. Central, same place, same time, 1 month from now. So thank you all for coming, for attending. Thanks again to our presenters, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon.